at page 01052, so as to create awareness. Possible knowledge. And whereas this procedure says that please ensure that all activities are videographed from the time the bull enters the area till it leaves after completion of the event. Every part of the activity is videographed under these standard operating procedures. And there is a compliance report that is to be given. So we couldn't be stating anything different from what we are presenting before your lordships today. And then wherever there's a violation, and there will be violations, I'm sure there are, we have taken action.
So the actual run is to not exceed 2 minutes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that is from the beginning till the exit.
That's correct. That's correct. And if you are able to reach 15 seconds, Malas, kindly look at it from another standpoint. I mean, this is a human perspective.
So will there be pauses by the bull itself? You have seen that.
It could be.
Seen videos where the bull really stops and then
it could happen.
It could.
Yes.
So
we try and still jump on it, Malas, and hold on to it.
Immediately will run.
It may run, yes. So all that is, Malas, you cannot calculate these things, Malas. But look at it from another standpoint.
So there are 3 areas which will take us back to Nagaraja.
Yes.
The first thing is that inherently the bull is not, meant for this kind of a performance. Inherently. That's what the court said.
Well, what's the basis?
Use a bull for this kind of a thing, unlike the other animals, which are.
What's the basis for that? What's the jurisdictional basis for that?
That's right. Which you may have to really answer.
Yes.
Secondly, even if it is for a limited period of 2 minutes and 15 meters, as you call it, from the entry point till the bull run area begins.
Yes.
The flight response, fear.
Yeah.
Because we find biologists writing that as far as an animal is concerned, the emotion which it, like all human beings also, dreads the most, fear.
Yeah.
You can put up with physical pain, you can put up with other emotions, but when fear overwhelms you, whatever period of time it might, it is the worst kind of pain that you undergo.
Right.
Putting somebody in fear. The worst things can be done, like in a confession.
Right.
In a confession, you get so many things. Fear is an emotion which everyone is.
Right.
So during that 15-minute period, that fear, flight, that will be there, which is why the bull is going to run out.
Right.
Somebody is doing something.
Right.
Now, whether the third thing is the distinction between an essential activity from the perspective of human being and a non-essential activity. This is entertainment. For the entertainment of human beings, should we subject animals for whom we are supposed to have compassion as a constitutional value?
Right.
Can a state allow, on the basis of its perception of cultural rights, which it's yes to establish according to them, to subject this bull? And then the argument of Krishnan Venugopal, that how do you select, what is the basis for perpetuating cruelty and then seeking shelter under entry 70, false follow 79, 59 SCR, and 97 SCC, those 2 judgments. You have to deal with
Malas, I'll deal with the last one first, Malas. Malas, what's the basis of saying that this is pure entertainment? Malas, kindly look at it from a historical perspective. Malas, the person who is bringing the bull feeds the bull, and it's a very expensive proposition. Feeds the bull every day for an event in January. And he does it with great care and passion.
What does he get out of it?
Well, many things. And not just entertainment.
Ah.
He gets the price of the bull goes up in the market. I believe that a well-humped bull it gets about a lakh and a half in the market. No, that's what I was told. I was told that. I don't know. What? I don't know. Whatever it is, it goes for a high.
What is the average age of
Well, 6 years. 6 years. Yeah. So 6 years, Maharaj. And not only that, it fathers many bulls. This is another very important aspect.
That's right. So from what age do you use this?
From age 2, I believe. 18 months onwards, it can father.
18 months onwards.
It can father for 6 years.
When does it go into retirement?
6 years. 6 years.
6 years it dies.
No.
That's what you're asking me.
Life is 20 years,
20.
but it fathers many bulls, many cows or mothers for several years, and he gets money for it. So therefore, this whole concept that it is only for entertainment, that's not the case at all.
What is the evidence of it being a cultural practice dating back?
I'm sure that that's a separate issue, Maharaj. My learned friend will deal with it, and I'll deal with it also in a small way, Maharaj. But I'm just giving your lordship the background. Now, Maharaj, the state itself takes frozen semen from this bull, right? To preserve it and then use it. So use it in the hospital, use it for many other, for other bulls also, for other, for progeny. So Maharaj, there are several uses put to it. So to say that this event, and then what he does is, he showcases this bull, right? And with great love and compassion, he has brought it up. She coaches it. He doesn't want to cause it pain.
Unlike the Spanish bull.
Yes, he doesn't like. In fact, this is not an attempt to inflict pain on the bull. Certainly not. A man who with great care, Maharaj, and compassion brings up a bull, spends so much money on it, he surely doesn't want it to be suffer unnecessary pain. What does happen, however, is in the process of that performance, there is an element of discomfort always. That's like the element of discomfort that is bound to be. Now, if you cause injury to him, unacceptable. If you twist his tail and fracture his spine, unacceptable. If you give him liquor, unacceptable. And if you cut his ear, unacceptable. Whereas why would any owner want that to happen? Huh? That's a separate issue.
Question is whether we should see the video.
Video might be beneficial. The video of the other side.
We'll have a counter. There is a video of which side?
Not all. We have not given any video.
I think you search it on YouTube. It's by the court.
YouTube will have anything. That is what it is. It could be old. It could be dated.
I don't want to see it. You don't want to see it.
You can get the video. Well, we can't convert a constitution bench. We can't convert a constitution bench into an exercise of discovering facts.
Mr. Sibal, only one thing.
Yes.
These photographs which are given to us.
Yes.
You said it was given to us a day before.
Yes.
And no opportunity to us and all.
Yes.
We find that this volume which you have given to us, volume number 1.
Yes.
Volume 1.
Yes.
If you come to page 82.
Yes.
Document 82, page 1. You yourself are admitting it and giving your explanation.
That's right, because we got it in 15, worked overnight and said, you please respond to it. I told them that tomorrow somebody may rely on something, at least you must respond, which is why we discovered. My lord asked us the question, showed those two photographs, we had responses for it.
Your admission.
I'm sorry?
You are coming with an explanation, but you are not disputing the photographs which in compilation.
No, I am disputing the conclusion, Mullah, that has been arrived at.
That's correct.
That's what I am disputing.
You might dispute the conclusion, but you're not disputing the photographs in compilation.
Mullah, that's not the point. I am not disputing the fact that there are some photographs of previous events, which I am disputing. But there are some photographs of contemporaneous events which I'm saying this is not the correct picture and the conclusion is wrong.
Certification by all the animal husbandry department of Coimbatore, all the places, and they have given their explanation. Side by side.
We've done it for your lordship so that your lordship should not say that, look, you had it, you had given no explanation, why didn't you give the explanation? So we give an explanation to each photograph and we can give, there's no issue on that. We don't want to hide anything.
All that is shows that animal.
But the disputed question of fact remains, Malad. The way they want to present it is not what is.
No.
That
Only one thing, when you give an explanation, so obviously the department, whoever is monitoring, they're able to identify the event, the animal,
yes.
and have given an explanation.
Yes.
So to that extent that these photographs are post-amendment events.
No. Some of them are not.
No, that specific you may have some
Yes.
issues about, some are not.
Yeah.
But so far as the, say, 1 to 18, 25,
Yes.
all these are of post,
Whatever it is, Malad, but you
with all
cannot-
the protections that you say
Yeah.
are in place.
Yeah, for example, they say that we are poking something. We're not poking anything, Malad. There is a sickle through which the rope is cut, and only the owner is allowed to cut the rope, Malad. So we are saying that your explanation is completely wrong. But question is, how do you decide all this?
Yeah.
And many of the pictures are actually false, Malad. It's not right. Malad, they say that the bull has died there. We have evidence to fact that the bull never died there at the event. So, Malad, all that is all collated now. Question is, Malad, you can't on the 15th of November put in these photographs and expect the court to come to a conclusion of fact.
Yeah.
Volume 3 of the convenience compilation of documents, volume 3.
Yes, Malad. Yes.
That is by Prita Srikumar.
Yes.
At page 1116.
1116. I'll just see that, Malad. Yes.
You only wanted to know who issued this, whether it is the rules or something like that. But it says, one caption is there, duties and responsibilities of tables.
These are Malad's translated
Now,
copies of
only
hoardings.
to please see this second one. It says 1116.
Yes.
Duties and responsibilities of the table.
Yes.
Should be in uniform.
Correct.
Second one.
Only one tamer can control one bull at a time.
So is the rule we wanted to, because we were putting this question.
It is in the hoardings, Malad, that are put up.
That is why.
That's right. This
Is
is,
there any rule that, like that? Now that we found that actually.
my lord, I'm grateful to your
That's
lord.
for this. for
I'm
this.
grateful for your lord, to your lordship.
Translation of 1113.
That is why what is that document?
Yes.
Because we were all along, we were putting this question. So now it is there. Is it the rule?
Where?
This is what is set up as a hoarding outside by the organizers.
Malad, now your lordship sees, Malad, the matter is clarified.
Yes, sir.
There is a hoarding that is put up. 1 second, if you don't mind, sir. We were so respectful. Just so respectful when you were arguing, even though you were making.
It says, I will read this. Duties and responsibilities of the tables. It says should be in uniform. Second one is there. Only one tamer can control one bull at a time. This we were asking. This
Your lordship was asking that.
Correct.
That's your lordship is right. It's not part of the rule,
Correct.
but it is part of the hoarding, which says this is the only way it will happen.
Evidence of how it we work on the ground.
That's what I was trying to say because I've seen the video.
Should have been there in the room.
I agree. I'm not disputing that, Malad. What I'm saying, you can't strike down the rule on that ground, right? You can say that, look, these
We come to
improve.
paragraph 41 and 42 of Nagaraja. Please deal with that.
All right, I'll deal with that now.
And performing animals 43.
Yeah, I'll come to that. 41, 42.
Because that is where, they are actually, the bedrock of the argument is that.
Malad, in Tamil Nadu, it is mentioned in Jallikattu Rules 2017 by the organizers. That's how it is conducted, Malad. This is the responsibility of the organizer.
Square meter within, it can be any shape.
That's correct. That's correct. Now, your lordship asked me to deal with 41, 42 of the Nagaraj. Well, let's, if your lordships don't mind.
But
41, 42.
if you think of the basic building blocks of square meter,
Government envelope is also there.
Malad, district collector is issuing these guidelines. The organizing committee.
Outside of the rules strictly.
Malad, I am not, your lordship asked me the question, I said the practice on the ground is that. Your lordship is right. This should be incorporated in the rules. No issue on that. We'll do that. There's no issue on that. But I just wanted to clarify the reality on the ground.
Now we come to paragraph 42, 43.
Let's see 42, 43. Section 3 and 11 has
Of
already,
necessity and,
yes, already therefore conferred no right on the organizers of bullock cart race, but only duties, responsibilities, but confer corresponding rights on animals. What's the basis of that conclusion, Mullah? That's what I told your lordships at the beginning. Every duty doesn't have a corresponding right or a concomitant right. This is the basic flaw in the judgment. Section so and so, and other related provisions have to be understood and read along with 51G, which cast fundamental duties on every citizen to have compassion for living creatures. Parliament, by incorporating 51AG, has again reiterated and re-emphasized the fundamental duties on human beings towards every living.
we have to jurisprudentially, we have to deal with this sentence.
Yes.
But correspondingly, but confer correspondingly
Yeah.
rights on animals.
That's correct.
Now, what is your stand on that?
Mullahs,
No rights.
you can only get a right under a statute or under the Constitution. That right has neither been conferred by statute or under the Constitution. So how do you find a right outside of that?
Is it your case that there has to be a express will of the sovereign
Yes.
to confer right on whether animate or inanimate object? Because deities under the Hindu law also are given rights.
Your lordship is right. Mullahs, in fact,
Child in whom?
natural rights.
Natural rights.
Natural rights are outside the Constitution now, Mullahs. In fact, right to life, even if the protection were not there, I have the right to life. So, Mullahs, that's true. But those are not conferred on animals. Animals are protection because they
The
actually...
basic thing is there, right is a creation of legislature.
Yes. By and large, rights is the creation of legislature. Unless you say somebody has a natural right. What is that natural right to a domestic animal? Is to protect him and to ensure that it doesn't suffer from unnecessary pain and
There the argument is, the locus standi, the concept of locus standi has been expanded remarkably under our constitution.
right.
Now, the animal obviously cannot come to court.
Of course not.
If an interest, because what is a right in law? It is actually an interest which is protected by a sanction,
Correct.
punishment.
Correct.
That's what Salmon would say. Now, in that sense, when you say that, for example, you shall not kick an animal. Now, the animal is a living being. You take a juristic personality like a company.
Right.
It can be the subject matter of a legal right,
Right.
like a natural person.
Right.
Rights can be conferred on a juristic person.
Right.
But you have to begin and end with the question, ultimately, whether animals have personhood.
Well, let me answer that question immediately.
One more thing, and then I'm done. In Europe, in particular in England, now the huge debate is raging. Because there, unfortunately or unfortunately, going by their historical sort of etiology, they actually treat animals as things. They call it as things. One development which took place was a police dog was murdered or killed. So that immediately they took it up, animal rights activists took it up, and then they have a debate now going that in keeping with the services rendered by a police dog, they should be treated much better. And from inanimate things, they are being now slowly being recognized as sentient beings capable of, like you very fairly said at the very beginning. So if they are sentient beings, we are dealing with a completely new area of law.
Correct.
So how do we approach it? And
I tell
say
you
that,
that-
no, we simply say they don't
No,
have
no,
any
no.
rights.
Well, as I said right at the beginning, they are sentient beings, and because they are domesticated, we have taken them as those who serve us in some way or the other.
That's right.
It is our duty to protect them.
Duty to protect them, and
Yeah.
show compassion.
Yes, show compassion. I agree entirely. I agree entirely. So
Particularly
if,
the
so,
state.
so if you look at the section 11, it says beats, kicks, overrides, overdrives, overloads, tortures, or otherwise treats any animal to subject it to unnecessary. So what is it? What is it? There is an element of mens rea here.
That's
There's an element of mens rea here.
deliberately you.
Yes, you are deliberately doing something. You are kicking the animal. You are overdriving the animal. You are overloading the animal, knowing full well that you're going to cause him unnecessary pain and suffering. That's what's prohibited. So
That used to happen. That used to happen.
that
in
used to
Nagaland.
happen. That used to happen, Malas. And therefore, we have a symbiotic relationship with nature. It is our duty to protect nature. Nature in all its forms. You can't cut trees just like that. So therefore, I don't think any state can argue that we need not ensure the full protection of sentient beings, but to the extent they are used for human purposes, we must treat them with compassion and ensure that whatever we do doesn't cause them unnecessary pain and suffering. Therefore, I said in my beginning, Millets, the key here is unnecessary.
The argument
I get a bull.
Grover argued that every animal is entitled to dignity.
Dignity in what sense, Millets?
See, the
Compassion.
dignity conceived, according to him and to the others, is, see, that life is finite. Life as we understand. We have other religious, spiritual understanding of how life is being eternal. But as we know it, life is finite, A to
Right.
B, point A to B.
Correct.
As long as you are alive,
Yeah.
in whatever form you are alive in this world, you are entitled to be treated with dignity, in the sense free from all kinds of physical pain. Not limited to physical pain, however, but also mental pain, fear, that you don't, infuse an animal because it is an animal, because you have the feeling that it is subordinate to the human being. We can do anything with them. That we don't say, okay, we'll use them as a plaything, a toy. Not mindful of its healing, what it goes through. This is, it's not exactly compassion.
Well, let's put it this way. If the law said, or if your lordships were to hold, that no human being who has domesticated an animal can inflict any form of pain on him, let's assume that your lordships were to hold that, then no activity can take place with domesticated animals.
Yeah.
Because per se, every activity of a
It's
human
unnecessary
being.
pain.
That's the point. Yeah. Malas, of course, we must have compassion. But Malas, you keep a dog, Malas, on a leash for 18 hours a day.
Temperature difference.
Yes. What happens? What happens? But you do keep a dog on a leash, Malas. In fact, now you have dogs who sit at home while the woman goes to work, Malas. I mean, I'm talking about Europe and the US. And they are all alone. It causes pain. It causes pain. But the question is, Malas, that we are now living in a world, as I said, Malas, the moment you domesticate an animal, you've caused him pain.
Your theory of domesticating animals, does it apply to men and women also?
They are by nature domesticated. Men are by nature domesticated.
And by nature, they occasionally cause pain. Occasionally cause.
This doctrine of, necessity,
Yes.
or rather non-essential activity,
Yes.
which is again understood as entertainment, because ultimately it boils down to entertaining. A lot of people are entertained.
This is not entertainment according to me, and I'll demonstrate that, Your Lordship.
Not entertainment.
No, it is to demonstrate.
Why are
it is,
people
it is to
gathering
demonstrate the vigor of your bull. It is to demonstrate how well you have brought him up. It is to demonstrate how strong he is.
But in the process, the people who constitute the audience, the emotion that they experience is entertainment.
I
They
don't
feel
know.
better. I go to I come back with a feeling that I feel better, euphoric.
No, it's not entertainment per se, Malad. It's not entertainment per se. It's not an event only for entertainment.
You're just jotting down your argument, not entertainment
It is not entertainment per se.
per se.
According to you, it's a byproduct.
It's a byproduct. It's not solely for the purposes of entertainment.
Okay, solely not for the purpose.
The entertainment. 11.1M, Malad. Just look at 11.1M. This outside the statute, this argument, Malad, the 11.1M, which even the judgment Nagaraj relies upon it, is completely wrong. Kindly see M. Solely with a view to provide entertainment. I don't want to answer it. 11.1M.
Correct.
Solely with a view, and kindly see the balance. Confines or causes to be confined any animal, including tying of an animal as a bait in a tiger or other sanctuary, so as to make it an object of prey for any other animal. How does it apply to Jallikattu? And Nagaraj relies upon it. And then 2 is incites any animal to fight or bait any other animal. 11M doesn't apply at all. And 11A, 1A has an element of mens rea.
Unless you make the man an animal. Which he is.
But the definition isn't that. Definition is not that.
Unless the context otherwise.
That's correct. That's correct. It says other than a human being. Animal is
You
other.
saw that, but unless the context
Well,
otherwise.
what's the context here? Surely.
There is no creature more cruel than the man.
That is true. That is
More
true.
cruel. So,
No doubt about it.
absolutely.
I have on that, Malad, I'm entirely with you. Right. So, Malad, therefore, neither 11.1A nor 11.1M applies in this case. For the reasons, 2 reasons. One, there is no mens rea involved in this. I don't take him to the arena to inflict pain on him, or to kick him, or to override him. Right? And secondly, Malad, 11M doesn't apply at all.
Yeah.
Now your lordship talked about necessity. Sorry.
It's interconnected. There's a finding in Nagaraj that bulls are not animals which are by nature have this sporting inclination, unlike horse.
I don't think horses by nature a sporting inclination.
They can run. The physiology is such that that is the finding. They are performing animals. And bulls, the physiology is such that they find it difficult to participate in this running activity.
What's the basis of that finding, Malad? What's
Yes.
the basis of that? There's no basis for that finding. It's just a finding.
So there is reference to some text.
No, Malad. In fact, on the contrary, Malad, let me give you another aspect to your lordships. Malad, many of these bulls, Malad, are part of a domestic breed. And what is happening because of globalization, there's a lot of cross-fertilization. The domestic bull, Malad, when it mates with a cow, the domestic cow produces 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 kilos of milk.
In fact, I read somewhere all the Brazil cattle went from breed
In
farms.
India, from India. Brazil cattle was exported from India.
Yes.
Yes, correct, Malad. We are the biggest exporters, Malad, of that product now. So, Malad, what is happening is the Jersey cow is giving 10 kilos, 12 kilos, 14 kilos. So the bulls are now don't have the kind of economic value for the farmer. So if you don't allow the domestic bull to actually retain its genetic character, mothers, you will lose the domestic bull.
So I think Indian bulls are the only ones who have humps.
Indian bulls have large humps and the others
European,
don't.
so
Yes,
European-
and not only that, they are immune from disease. So, mothers, what the other problem that we are facing in the country, that we must encourage the domestic bull to survive. Because the time will come that if you don't allow it to survive, it'll all be taken over by globalization, and you will have the other breed, mothers, and they are susceptible to all kinds of diseases. And sometimes, your lordships, you know that you have to cull, chickens in thousands and thousands because they can't, they're not immune from disease. Darwin's. So the other problem is that, mothers. So one of the reasons why this is encouraged, why Jallikattu is encouraged, it's a private activity. One of the reasons it's encouraged is to ensure that the domestic breed survives. So therefore, when you talk about entertainment, it's not entertainment. There's a societal purpose behind it. No question of solely on entertainment. No question of unnecessary pain.
Other question is for orientation of our approach.
Yes.
Globally, we are finding over a period of time involvement of animals in performance activities
That's right.
are being discouraged.
That's correct.
Now, of course, we'll have to go by law, but as we are in a constitution bench dealing with rights, how do you
I'll respond
find
to that.
approach with
Yeah.
whether it should be compatible with
No, Manoj, I think that ultimately the court will move towards a regime that allows for as little pain as possible, unnecessary pain as possible. You'll have to move it towards that regime. I mean, it's not come yet. But Manoj, let me answer the question directly. When you have a circus, Manoj, it's purely for entertainment. There is no other compelling reason to have a circus. Manoj. It's banned. If you have a cockfight, it's purely for entertainment. It's banned. Right? So there is a difference between activities purely for entertainment and activities which are not purely for entertainment but have a societal purpose. So if it's pure amusement, as my Lord Justice Bose put to me, Manoj, I think the law should proceed in that direction. Monkeys, Manoj, coming to the home, they've stopped coming. I'm glad they have. There is a lot of monkeys around, Manoj, that perform in any case.
they are freely, voluntarily
Perform. So the point is that's been stopped. Why? It's purely for entertainment. So, by using a domestic animal to earn money purely to entertain is an area of law where your lordships should actually move forward.
If you come to this, the way you've amended section 3,
Yes,
it says, you don't have to take it here, that's putting it to you.
yes.
The conduct of Jallikattu with a view
Uh,
to follow and promote tradition and culture
that's correct.
and ensure preservation of the native breeds of bulls,
Correct.
as also safety, security and well-being.
Correct.
No, it is, and one thing to read this said section,
Yes.
if it were to just end with the conduct of Jallikattu,
Yes.
you have actually supported it with the requirement that it should be with a view
Yes.
to follow and promote tradition and culture.
Yes. Correct.
To that extent, it is permitted.
That's correct.
That's
That's
why it's
exactly.
permitted.
That's why.
And then secondly, ensuring preservation of the native breeds. of
That's
bulls.
correct.
and the safety of, this is a worldwide argument
Yes.
actually. Bulls, this argument is raised everywhere,
That's
even in
correct.
Spain.
Correct.
That otherwise they're a dying breed, nobody's going to take care of them.
Right.
Now, the criticism first to begin with is about this preservation of native breeds. It's one thing to say that you love the animal. You treat it like a member of your family, as it, I think that's your argument. Grow it up 6 years, 20 years.
Yeah, you're not going there, Malas, to harm him or to cause him unnecessary pain. That's not the
The
objective.
point is, whether how is it how is the holding of the Jallikattu necessary for the preservation of the native? I'd like to know that.
Malas, because what will happen
Without
is,
that,
I tell you, Lord, is what if you're
No,
not
you
able to
said
showcase.
Important. You said that they breed the next generation of
Yeah.
bulls and cows
Correct.
are necessary because the cows are obviously necessary.
That's right.
So without the bulls, obviously you can't
Yeah.
have them.
Yes.
So that way they are necessary.
Correct.
For what? For the native breeds? Why of bulls itself? What is the need to have these bulls without this
To
Jallikattu?
showcase,
Huh?
Malas, that what the kind of bull you have, what you have done with it, how strong it is. This is to tell the world that, this is the bull you should mate. You should have your cow mate with. Right? I mean, what's wrong with that, Malas?
But then without that, would you not do it?
No, it's not a question of without that. The question is, does this cause unnecessary? Malas?
Let us test it.
Yes,
Supposing this court says that what you have done is wrong and
Yeah.
we ban it,
yes,
are you for a moment saying that the farmers in Tamil Nadu
yes.
will stop breeding?
Yes. They wait for a whole year for this event, Malas. That Jersey cows, that's how you've seen, Malas. We've seen the domestic breeds in Tamil Nadu decreasing.
And this trend, then
They'll be
follow-
disheartened, yes.
Follow tradition and culture.
Malas, it's,
Tradition and culture.
yes,
What is the material onto this?
I've got that.
One argument is you have not established.
I've got that, Malas. I've got that material. I showed to your lordships presently. But apart from that, Malas, he gets a great, my Lord Justice Roy mentioned the other day, Malas. He wants to impress a lot of people, Malas, while he gets on to the bull, Malas.
And also the Empress of Blendings, the PG Wood houses.
That's correct.
Wants to have the fattest pig in the.
Absolutely. So, Malas, therefore, to say that what will happen is ultimately, Malas, he will say, look, what's the value? I can't showcase my bull. I can't go and tell the people what I have done with the bull. I can't get a good price for it. Why would I keep it? Just let it go.
And why do you say it is for their safety? That is something which we find a contradiction in terms. You end by saying you have put on everything, all your eggs in one basket. You've said, and also their safety, security, and well-being. Who told the Tamil Nadu government that the bulls feel safe when Jallikattu is held?
No. To ensure that in Jallikattu, we must make sure for their safety and well-being.
That's right.
Yes. Therefore, why in the performance in that particular event, in the conduct of that event, they must be
The sentence reads, the conduct of Jallikattu
with a view.
with a view
Yes.
to, what do you call it, to ensure, the sentence should read, to ensure their safety,
Security and well-being with a view to follow it, with a view to promote
ensure
tradition.
their
That's how it should
safety,
be.
Well-being and security. How do you say that by holding Jallikattu, you will be ensuring their safety, security, and well-being, at least for the temporary period when the Jallikattu is held, their safety is at stake?
No, it's not, Malas. That's the whole point. Their safety is not at stake, Malas. Their safety is ensured. Malas, if the event is conducted in the fashion that we are conducting in, the whole purpose is to make sure that they are safe. Why would I, Malas, who have taken care of this animal for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, go there to ensure that he's unsafe? I would not want to do that. But the state's responsibility is to make sure that in that event, everybody is safe, including the bull. That's the purpose. But your lordship was inviting my attention to 11.3 minutes. Amendment. Kindly see Malas 11.3 of the Act. Nothing in this section.
Yeah.
Sorry, Malas. My Lord Justice Roy has it. Nothing in this section
Yeah.
shall apply to the dehorning of cattle or the castration or branding or nose roping of any animal in the prescribed manner. Well, what's the necessity for that? How is this necessary? It's unqualified. Doesn't say dehorning for this purpose or that purpose. Just unqualified. It's absolutely.
It is absolutely cruel.
But it's exempted.
Because in Spain, there's a big controversy about this dehorning. They do it, it's not surgically done. They do it without anesthesia.
I know that.
I mean, this is terrible.
Yeah.
We should be struck down, actually.
All right, let's go to the next one, Melissa.
Huh?
Let's go to the next one. I hope that's not stuck down. Let's go to the next one. The destruction of stray dogs.
With the saw, they will, I mean, I don't know how they will do it in terms of, maybe in the prescribed manner it is there. So it may be surgical, yes. Let's see. I didn't get that.
Destruction of stray dogs. But I'm not on that, the manner they do it. What's the necessity? It's not necessary. A lot of cattle are with horns. What's the necessity? So the whole argument of necessary, it doesn't come through 11.3. Destruction of stray dogs in lethal chambers or by such other methods as may be prescribed. Extermination or destruction of any animal under the authority of any law for the time being in force, or any matter dealt with in Chapter 4. And Chapter 4 deals with Millard's cruelty, experimentation and other things. And then commission or omission of any act in the course of the destruction of a preparation of destruction of any animal as food for mankind, unless such destruction or preparation was accompanied by the infliction of unnecessary pain. How do you determine all this?
Finally, come to section 11B.
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 Yes.
Please read that.
Employs in any work or labor or for any purpose any animal.
Slowly. They are employees in any work or any labor or for any purpose.
Yes. Any animal which by reason of its age or any disease, infirmity, wound, sore or other cause is unfit to be so employed, or being the owner permits any such unfit animal to be so employed.
What you're trying to put to you is, in the light of the finding in Nagaraja, that the bull is intrinsically not suited for this performance. Will it not squarely attract 11B? Yes, we are just putting it here. It says, for any employees, for any purpose.
Because of reason of age, it is with respect to age.
Unknown, or any other cause. Unfit. We employed so-and-so employs it.
Any
So
purpose.
We are just trying to sort of synchronize it with the declaration in Nagaraja that the bull inherently is not fit, or any other cause will take in also, being domesticated animal, not, physiologically, anatomically not suited. I am for being employed for that particular purpose. The purpose is Jallikattu.
He is not being employed for that purpose.
Employ the word. That is,
I'm not talking of employment as such,
the
but
word employee.
correct, used.
We can perhaps give it a,
Doesn't matter. For 5,000 years, this has been performed, and the animal is unfit for it performing this. Is that the conclusion of Nagaraj? This has been going on for 5,000 years. And the conclusion is that the animal is unfit to do this. On the contrary, I will give you, Maharaj, before these documents, literature says that only this animal is fit to do this. In fact, the hump of the other bull, which is not aligned to the legs, and therefore no other bull is allowed to perform Jallikattu. This bull, the legs are aligned to the hump, and therefore this bull is the only bull that is allowed, domestic bull that is allowed to perform. And then Nagaraj says that it is unfit. What's the basis of all this? This is when courts go into areas and territories, which normally should be left to the legislature.
You lost in the review where you argued all this.
Malas, we are before 5 distinguished judges, Malas.
No, we are saying the findings in Nagaraja, that's the other argument that you're trying to get rid of a judgment of this court by a legislative device.
Not at all. I have employed an entirely different regime which takes care of Malas. In fact, there are 2 arguments here. One is the argument of another regime. The other argument is this is the policy decision of the legislature.
Wisdom of the.
This is the policy decision. And basically, Nagaraj proceeded on the assumption of repugnancy. That was the underlying basis on which Miller's Nagaraj was rendered. That basis is completely gone now because of the assent of the president. So what are you left with?
Article 21 and Article 14. No, there's an argument of Shyam when he says it takes a conduit of the human agency, namely human beings are being killed. And that's the other argument you have to meet.
No, but that's a private event, Manoj. It's like in boxing, human beings are being killed. In all, several sports in kill. Manoj, your lordships will remember, there one West Indian cricketer, Manoj, at the time when there were no helmets, he died. Nani contractor was hit, Manoj, on the head. I remember.
Vinay Lamba.
Rugby is a very rugby is a very dangerous sport. You have American football, of course, now they wear helmets. So there are any number of sports, Malas. So when you are a participant, you are going there for the purposes of showing that you can actually control the bull or get onto the hump and embrace it for 15 seconds. You take that risk.
Unsuspecting, uninformed or ill-informed or misinformed or less informed adults who may constitute the audience, is it the part of the duty of the state? Because the primary duty is to uphold life.
No, correct. But this is not a risk to life.
Are you not?
This is an accident. This is not a risk to life. I mean, in the course of 5,000 years, I don't know how many people may have died, but in the last 5-7 years, at least I don't have too much evidence, at least official evidence with me. But be that as it may, this is something that I decide to do voluntarily, participate in voluntarily. I take the risk for that. A lot of people, go up the Himalayas, go up to Mount Everest. What's the duty of the state to tell them you can't, you may die on the way?
Why do you criminalize suicide? Attempt to commit, not suicide, attempt to commit suicide.
I'm sorry,
Why does the law attempt,
But this is not an attempt to commit suicide,
We are just giving you the example.
Yeah.
To illustrate the point that the state has a stake.
I agree, but should the state say don't climb Mount Everest or K2? Because there's an element of risk and I have a duty, parents patria, some duty that you must make sure that I am taking care of your life, so don't go to that adventure. There are people, who go and cross, go across buildings, on one rope, just walking on that rope. Your lordship sees Grand Canyon. Go across, that's a risk you take. And here the state is providing, all kinds of facilities and safety measures. On the contrary, that's why your lordships read that part of the section, of the amendment which talks about safety. Sorry,
It was Raman Lamba.
Lamba is Vinay Lamba is still there. Raman Lamba.
May he live long.
That's correct. But sporting events, many sporting events, skiing. Every other day you see people break their legs, break their bones.
What do you say about the noise and the effect of noise?
In marriage,
cheering.
In marriage ceremonies,
Cheering, whatever you call
in marriage ceremonies, when the kind of band that plays near the ear of the horse, what happens to the poor horse? I wonder what noise is doing to his ears. So, these are courts can't. My point is twofold. Courts can't be going into this matter. It's not the domain of the court. to enter into matters in which the legislature, in the context of the event that is happening, has the duty to enact a law consistent with the rights of individuals involved or animals involved or whatever. And the duty of because this legislation deals with conduct of human beings. It doesn't deal with conduct of animals.
Isn't it not manifestly arbitrary?
I mean, we'll come to that, but it's not.
Because look at the irony of it.
Yes.
You are clinging on to the entry, prevention of cruelty to animals.
Yes.
Krishnan Venugopal and
Yeah.
everybody is arguing.
Right.
And ironically, you bring in an item, eliminate all possibilities of action being taken against you under section 11A2, etc., by saying nothing in this will apply.
Yes.
And still say that this is made under entry 17.
No,
And
but nothing
even
in
if you
this.
do succeed in making it on the basis of legislative power, still will it not be manifestly arbitrary?
Supposing I were to bring in a legislation saying whatever practice was conducted was proper, consistent with 11, your lordships may well say that that's manifestly arbitrary. Because now there is 11.3 is an amendment. There's an amendment to 3, there is an amendment to 11, there's an amendment to 22, there's an amendment to 27.
Yeah.
And 11.3 already exists. So, then why should all these activities not be per se cruel? Take the other sections of 11.3. They all must be struck down. That's much worse, Mullahs, in fact.
But according to Venugopal, section traceable to entry 97 read to the article 248.
So far, I haven't heard that argument.
Yes, he argued that. The state doesn't have the power. Whereas the center may have the power under entry.
Power for what, Mullahs? Power for this is prevention.
Power to provide for exceptions to acts which are prima facie cruelty, but which will in themselves actually perpetuate cruelty rather than elevate it.
As I said, the presumption of the statute is that there are acts of cruelty to animals. That's what I started with.
That's right.
So if you start with that presumption, Mullahs, all this is to prevent cruelty. So any act of cruelty is to be prevented by virtue of the provisions of this act and the rules, as long as it doesn't cause unnecessary pain and suffering. So how is it in entry 97, Mullahs? Clearly it is in entry 17. And all entries are to be, now I don't have to give judgments to your lordships, Mullahs.
Fields of legislation.
Fields of legislation should be interpreted widely, Mullahs. We'll give your lordships those judgments. But what I'm saying is 11.3, if on that test all 11.3 must go. 11.3 must be struck down as unconstitutional. There's no necessity for all this.
Yeah.
What can be cruelty can easily be defined under that entry, Mullahs. What amounts to cruelty? And therefore prevent it. Now look at the amendment, Mullahs.
Yes.
But all Mullahs clauses of 11.3 are absolute. There are no conditionalities attached to them. Just look at 11.3. Dehorning the cattle, destruction of stray dogs, they are absolute. Doesn't say what kind of stray dogs. Most of them are very timid, Mullahs.
The prescribed manner, though.
But that prescribed manner is a prescribed manner, but the entry is Mullahs that. As your lordships put to me earlier, that manner will be prescribed, but the entry is absolute. Now see, Mullahs, there are no conditions to it. Now see our entry. The conduct of Jallikattu with a view to follow and promote tradition and culture and ensure preservation of native breeds of bulls, as also their safety, security, and well-being. In the absence of their safety, security, and well-being, this will not be good law. It will not be an exception to 11.1. Unless, Mullahs, there is safety provided, unless there is security provided, unless it is for the well-being of the animal, or you have measures for the well-being of the animal.
Kindly, in that context, read paragraph 53 of Nagaraj.
All right. I wanted to read many others, Mullahs, but I will see 53. Yes, volume 3.
53 and There also the attempt was to uphold it on the ground of culture and tradition.
Kindly see 53, Madam.
Yeah.
Let's see that 53. Statement of objects and reasons of ENRJ refers to ancient culture and tradition and does not state that it has any religious significance. Even the ancient culture and tradition do not support the conduct of Jallikattu as bullock cart in the form in which they are being. See, again, in the form in which they are being conducted. Welfare and well-being of the bull in Tamil culture and tradition, they do not approve the infliction of any pain or suffering on the bulls. On the other hand, Tamil tradition and culture are to worship the bull, and the bull is always considered as the vehicle of Lord Shiva.
Yeah.
In Tamil tradition is to embrace bulls and not overpower the bull to show human bravery. Jallikattu beads silver or gold coins tied to the bull's horns, and in old days those used to get the money. The bull's horns would marry the daughter of the grand. That's correct, brother. That's also correct. Jallikattu or the bullock race, as practiced now, has never been the tradition. So as practiced now, again, Malitz, it goes back to the practice that was prevailing. PCA Act is a welfare legislation in our view overshadows or overrides the so-called tradition and culture.
In the matter at that point of time, there was no exception. Only religion was the exception. And the culture is also.
Jallikattu and bullock cart races, the manner in which they are conducted, have no support of Tamil tradition. This is completely wrong. It's a 5,000-year-old practice. Assuming
it is found that even the ancient culture and tradition do not support the conduct of Jallikattu. No doubt.
in the form.
Neither here nor there.
Yes.
They are not able to make out whether the custom is made out or in the form.
It says so, Malaj. In the present form, it says so.
Yes, in the form.
Yes.
So there is no
In the form in which it-
absolute
Correct.
prescription of.
That's what my Lord on the first day put that question.
So now let us see the culture that he will be dealt.
No, Malaj, there's a lot more I have to show
Yeah.
you, Lord. Malaj, kindly show. Now I want to show you some High Court orders. While all this is going on, Malaj, the High Court also is monitoring the matter. Now kindly see, Malaj, my new compilation, Convenience Compilation Volume 1.
It's a second convenience. Two convenience compilations. One given today. Which page?
Page 40, Malaj, or Volume 1. No, Volume 2. Why do you say that? Volume 1. Page 40.
Yeah.
Now kindly see, Malaj, this is an order of the court. And in respect of Avanipuram. Now kindly see page 42, prayer in the writ petition. Praying for a writ of mandamus directing respondents to constitute the Vija Committee and its representatives from all the community people as members for conducting the Jallikattu, Avanyapuram, on 15/1/2019 and to consider the petitioner's representation. Now kindly, let's just go on to page 50.
50, yes.
What does the court do? The following are appointed as chairman and members of the organizing committee, former district and session judge. Lordship has that at the bottom?
Yeah.
Then an advocate, three advocates, all three advocates. And then there's an advisory committee to assist the organizing committee, would comprise the following residents of Anyapuram. So there are 16 of them. Then let's kindly have just go over to page 58. Right on top, we'll see, Malaj, the entire event shall be videographed. That's the order of the court. The entire event shall be videographed and the same shall be produced before this court along with the report. Lordship has that?
Yeah.
Now kindly, my lords. Now kindly see at page 63.
Yeah.
The advocate, right on top, the advocate commissioners, after conducting Jallikattu, filed a comprehensive report before the court. The district collector and the commissioner of police also filed individual reports indicating that Jallikattu was conducted in an orderly manner or orderly manner without any room for complaint.
Yes.
Now kindly see page 70, yet another order, but this is another area, my lords, in Madurai, my lords. At page 70, it starts at 69. And at page 72, my lords, a committee is appointed, an organizing committee, and Manikam, retired principal district judge, district collector Madurai, inspector general of police, and assistant director of town panchayats. Again, my lords, kindly come to page 77.
Yeah.
Again, my lords, item 20 there, the entire event shall be videographed and the same shall be produced before the registry of this court along with the report. Then, my lords, there's another one at starting page 84. This is for 2021. That was 2019.
Anyway, high courts are monitoring.
Well, they are all monitoring. Committees are being appointed. Well, on what grounds does anybody say that nothing is being followed?
Yeah.
Page 86, you will find that the writ petitions are pertaining to Jallikattu program proposed to be held on 14/1/2021. And my lords, at page 87, while conducting Jallikattu, the official respondents will have to make sure that the earlier directions of the court in writ petition so and so are implemented in letter and spirit to the extent possible. So, my lord, this matter is being dealt with. Wherever there is a complaint, the matter goes to the court appoints a committee. Now, my lords, kindly come to our argument. Yes. Now, see, my lord, there is an order of the Madras High Court, page 57 of volume
Of written submission.
of our written submissions, my lords, in writ petition 23 of 2016. The division bench of the Madras High Court.
Yeah.
Kindly see paragraph 19 at page 71. The judgment starts at 57.
Yeah.
At page 71. Mr. Srinivas, learned counsel appearing on behalf of petitioner, pointed out that playing of Jallikattu itself is embracing the animal by holding the hump. The grown-up hump is a salient feature of native breeds in Tamil Nadu, and hump is also aligned to the front legs. Kindly see, notice that.
Yeah.
But I must just as an aside, Malad, I am told, Malad, that in 80% of the cases, the bull goes through, Malad, nobody can touch him. And it's only in the 20% cases, Malad, that some people are able to. And Malad, whoever gets onto the bull first, nobody then, everybody backs off.
Only one person is permitted.
No, what happens is people rush, two or three people rush, Malad, only one person gets onto the bull and everybody goes.
He wins.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes. And if he's thrown off, Malad, the bull goes away, Malad, then nobody can touch him. Sometimes, Malad, the person is thrown off the bull and then the bull stands there and nobody goes near him. The bull wins.
person, according to your version, is permitted.
No,
In
one
that-
person gets onto the bull. Malat, kindly see, there is a team of 15, 20 wearing the same clothes. As I told your lordships, Malat.
No, but you say that in that 15-meter.
Yes, one person gets on, nobody then goes on to the bull. Yeah, everybody goes back. Malat.
There is a lack of clarity. We should have clarity. We understand what, according to your version, that there is an entry point where the wood comes from the holding area, as you call it. Some area is there.
Right.
Then it enters into that. It
But
starts-
Very well.
Padiwas. So there, one person is allowed during when the
There are
bull is
Malat,
running.
14, 15 people there. Batch of people are there.
Huh?
A batch of people are there belonging to a team who wear the same clothes, Malat. That's provided by prescription. There's a committee provide, they're wearing the same clothes, Malat.
So where do you get all this?
It's there. The rule says so. I just showed to your lordship, the rule said so.
That's it. So therefore, more than what you said earlier in the.
Oh, not more than one gets onto the bull, Malat. That's all I'm saying. Holding is only one person. Nobody gets onto the bull. 3 people don't climb onto the bull, Malat. They will not even attempt.
But the bull will be surrounded immediately by 14 to 15%.
Bull, they will be there, Malat. The bull will go in, then one person will attempt. If he fails, the other will attempt. If he fails, if somebody gets on, there's no issue.
So during that 1 minute run, we take it.
Yes.
Because the next stretch is 100 meters.
That's when he goes off, Malat. Nobody is there. Then nobody is there.
Then nobody is there, we know that.
Yes.
You're saying that at short stretch, the intensity of the sort of apprehension, the fear that is generated in the bull.
There is no
The
fear,
only-
Malat. 80% there is no fear.
What remains is that.
Whereas 80% of the time, nobody can get onto the bull. There's no fear of the bull. The bull is not fearing anybody. It's human beings who are fearing that I must be careful when I get onto the hump and embrace the hump.
We can't be predicating that the bull is not scared. Nobody has asked the bull.
Correct. And nobody is, Malat, the bull has not answered that it is afraid, Malat. That also has not happened.
The answer in terms of the eyes. Normally the reaction is when you can notice from the eyes will be enlarged. Here,
Malat, they are trained bulls. They've done it year after year. They are trained bulls. They are trained bulls, Malat. It's done after year after year.
They show it.
Like running behind a bus.
Yeah.
Then, Malat, photograph page 71, Malat.
Page 71.
Malat, quite frankly, there is no pleasure without pain. You start, you are born, and from the day of your birth, pain and pleasure come together.
The masochistic approach.
It's true.
No,
That is psychologically a masochistic approach that we enjoy pain. Some
No,
people enjoy pain.
No,
The state of pain brings actually joy.
it is part of life.
To an extent, it is a
Joy,
concept
joy,
of human
pain and
existence.
joy is part of life. We can't do away with it.
Inseparable.
Inseparable.
That's right.
Inseparable.
Unnecessary pain is what they act.
That's precisely my argument, Malat. That is precisely my argument. Pain by animal, Nagaraj says because this is not consistent with the well-being of the animal, therefore it's bad.
No, Nagaraj says it's all intertwined with non-essential activities.
No, he says it is violative of 3.1a. 3.1a is nothing to do with unnecessary pain. First part of 3.1a is the well-being of the animal. It says this practice is inconsistent with the well-being of the animal, therefore violative of 3.1a. The next part, and does not cause unnecessary pain and suffering. That's the second part. He holds that also to be. He says both. Whereas well-being of the animal is not part of. That's not a condition precedent for determining the violation of the statute. I'll come to that.
Yeah.
Then Page 71, paragraph 20. Photographs of native.
1 minute. In your volume 1.
Yes. No, Malad. This written submissions. I'm sorry, Malad. Written submissions. The judgment starts at page 57. Some people may fail in the process of trying. It's only one guy who can get onto the bull. He'll become the hero. And the bull is the hero if nobody gets onto him.
I mean, aren't there other better things to embrace? The hump of the bull. Yeah.
Well, it's page 71. Photographs at 71. Well, my Lord Justice Bose has that.
Yes.
Photographs of native bulls and also imported or hybrid bulls have been exhibited to prove as to how the Indian bulls, Bos indicus, are having well grown up hump, whereas foreign breed bulls or hybrid bulls do not have hump or only have little hump, and also the hump of the native breeds is in alignment with their forelegs, which is not in the case of the imported breeds. The said photographs are extracted below. It's part of the judgment.
Yeah.
And you can see now, Malad, on the left-hand side, if you see the photograph from the right-hand side, you will see hump is in line with the forelegs. And the other one is hump is not in line with the forelegs. Difference in physical traits between pure Indian Bos indicus bulls and post Bos indicus ex Bos. I'm sorry, Malad. Your Lordship has that?
Yeah.
You're referring to which?
My Lord Justice Astogi has
You're referring to.
my written submissions.
Okay, the first one.
The judgment starts at page 57. I was referring to page 71.
What's the photo?
19 and 20 at page 71. 20 says photographs of native bulls and also imported or hybrid bulls have been exhibited to prove that as to how Indian bulls are having well-grown hump, whereas foreign breed bulls or hybrid bulls do not have hump or only have little hump, and also the hump of the native breeds is in alignment with their forelegs, which is not the case of imported breeds. The set photographs are exact below. So over the page are the photographs. And then the judge says, page 73, the division bench, the perusal of the above photographs would indicate that the native breeds have got huge hump, which is necessary for the tamers to hold on during Jallikattu, whereas the hump is not grown and available in the hybrids or imported bulls. Therefore, the imported or hybrid bull are not fit for participating in Jallikattu. Therefore, the argument that all bulls are in one category, are classified under one category, and therefore there is discrimination under Article 14, that's what an argument was made. Just the contrary. Indian bulls, domestic Indian bulls, a breed, is a class apart. Its forelegs are aligned to the hump, and the practice of 5,000 years, mothers. How does Nagaraj say that they are unfit to perform this? That's why this is dangerous territory. This is territory which the legislature must look at, not for the court.
Yeah.
And Malaj, in Nagaraj, what really happened? The notification of the Ministry of Environment and Forests, which banned this activity as it was being practiced, was upheld. At that time, 3, 11, 22, 27, and 28, because now we have 28A, were not amended. And the court said, this is beyond the legislative, this is repugnant to the powers of Parliament. Under 254, 1, it is bad. It's unconstitutional. So the whole thing was tested against the provisions of the act that was then prevailing. The act has changed, the amendments have come in. How do you say, Malat, that Nagaraj applies to every situation? Where the whole regime has changed, the act has been amended, and now, Malat, there's no question of legislative competence.
Yeah.
And kindly see, Malat, page 81 of the last part of the judgment of this very compilation. And the written summations, Malat, that I was giving. In view of the above, it is clear that the Amendment Act and the rules speak about only native bull, and the Amendment Act is intended only to preserve and to ensure the survival and continuance of native breeds of bulls. The Jallikattu would be conducted making use of only native breeds of bulls. And then over the page at page 82, no other bulls other than native bulls can participate in Jallikattu. There's an inbuilt prohibition under the Act to use other breeds, including imported hybrid cross variety bulls, to use it in Jallikattu by employment of the adjective native. In view of the above prohibition, no owner or authority can allow other bulls except native bulls to participate. And 33 ultimately is the finding and the directions, mothers. For the above reasons, page 86. This goes forth, court gives the following directions. Respondents are directed to permit native breeds alone to participate. Respondents are prohibited from allowing imported hybrid cross bulls. Respondents are directed to get a certificate from the veterinary doctor certifying bulls which are participating in Jallikattu events are native breeds and imported hybrid cross breeds, along with applications for participation from owners of bulls. And the respondents are directed to encourage bull owners to groom native breeds by way of subsidy or incentives, so that farmers will be encouraged to groom native breeds. Now, Malas, I'll just give to your lordships, Malas, the other evidence that is with us now on the native breed. Volume. There's now volume 2 of the old compilation, convenience compilation. Therefore, Malas, I'm not dealing with those judgments that my learned friend cited about, Malas, the Karnataka water dispute, allocation of quantity of water.
This factual finding cannot be
That's correct, Malas. That's not relevant.
said by a legislature.
Yes, that's not. Nothing has been upset. No factual finding has been upset. There's a whole new vista. There's a whole new regime.
Argument of that 53, 54. Your point is in the form it was being practiced.
That's correct.
That is your point.
That's right. And that's set out at 31 minutes. In paragraph 31 itself. Now kindly see page 440 minutes of this compilation. India, Tamil Nadu Veterinary and Animal Sciences University. India is a rich repository of livestock, genetic resources, and diversity. A community's domestic animals can enhance the environment as a living system, thus also enhancing the human inhabitants' quality of life. Tamil Nadu has vast animal genetic resources with a wide variety of indigenous animals, 5 breeds of cattle, 1 breed of buffalo, 8 breeds of sheep, 3 breeds of goat, 4 breeds of dogs, and a number of lesser-known varieties and genetic groups of animals. The breeds have evolved over generations to adapt to the agroclimatic and socio-economic needs of the people. A number of these breeds are now subjected to fast genetic degradation. Kindly note that. And dilution because of unplanned breeding and introduction of exotic germplasm. If this trend continues, the invaluable native germplasm will grossly be depleted or even lost. So when you're talking...
Are these being introduced for the first time in this, or do they form part of the writ petition or any affidavit?
No. They have...
Because unless they relate to recommended text, they won't be admissible.
My understanding is that state of Tamil Nadu at least has not.
It's a public document, Mother.
So it can be public document, but to rely, same argument you made for.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm not saying, Mother, at the moment, since we are dealing with this issue of native breeds, it's only in that context.
They have not filed a reply, is my understanding, in even one writ petition. So nothing is on record before this honorable court that is being presented by my learned friend.
Okay.
And public documents are an entirely different category, my lords. Your lordship knows from the Evidence Act, a paper published in a journal is not a public document.
And a paper published in a newspaper, a photograph from a newspaper is a public document.
Oh, both sides are.
No, let's not, I don't want to go into it.
But we have
Well,
filed.
let's-
Anyway.
But let's, Your Lordship,
filed
one second, hold on.
original documents. This is the form of a compilation handed over in court. Well, I'll
You're supporting with an affidavit. How that improves it? Your affidavit, there's nothing to prove that documents.
No, my affidavits do, but my learned friend, so let me just clear the air here. I have affidavits in support of reports for 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, which enumerate the deaths of individuals and bulls taking place. So it's a report prepared by my persons, investigators on the ground. Each one supported by an affidavit in the sense the report is to bring it on record. And he hasn't filed a contradiction for 5 years. And because I referred to 2022 being the latest, because I didn't want to burden the court with each year, we are told that there is no contradiction. For 5 years, these reports have been placed on record after the applications are filed. So they are supported by affidavit and the report is by an individual ground investigation. He has taken the photographs. It's not a photograph from some newspaper. The person went there to those events, took photographs, documented it, compiled it in a report.
So, my lords, there is a difference between what Mr. Sibbal is doing and what has been done in our cases. Not even a reply has been filed in a single matter.
No, in 2023, it has been filed.
Anyway, you proceed.
You may not have got it. So, Malas, I'm not necessary for me to refer to this. I'm just pointing out since this issue has come up. I don't have to refer to this. There's also a report of the Government of India.
Is there any text that would be admissible?
Yeah, I'm telling you, give a report of the Government of India itself, Malas, which I just give to your lordships. You may not kindly see. This is it, no? Government of India, Ministry of Center, correct? Kindly look at page 650, 648. This is a livestock census. I hope I can rely on that. Now, kindly see this, Mother, at page 648. This is Government of India, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy Department. And this is 20th Livestock Census, Mother. I believe this census takes place every 5 years, Mother. The last one was 2013. Now, kindly see, I just showed your lordships at 672. I'm going to just 662 first. The 20th at the bottom. The 20th livestock census was conducted between 1st October 2018 to 20th September 2019. The 20th livestock, previously it was 2013. And therefore this report is published in 2020. And kindly come to page 672. Whereas there are 3 native breeds of Tamil Nadu. You will find just on top of the table 2.2. My lords have that? Breed-wise number of animals under indigenous cattle. My lord has that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was referring to page 672. This is the Government of India report.
Starting with the gill. Starting with the gill, correct?
Yes.
Something different.
This is only.
Yes.
What is two continuous?
In the first set of compilation, second.
Page this 139.
One, two.
And what did we say in number 2? This is said in the application. What did we say in the application?
This one.
672.
Yeah, I got it.
Now kindly see, Millets, this document starts at page 648.
Yeah,
Page 672.
yeah,
Millets, the table is breed-wise number of animals under indigenous cattle.
yeah.
And item 26, 29, and 32 relate to the domestic indigenous cattle relating to Tamil Nadu.
It is Gangayam,
Kangayam, Bargur, and Umbala cherry. Lordship said that.
Yeah.
Then one more over the page, Pulikulum. Kangayam. Now, Kangayam, your lordships will see, has actually gone down. Percentage share with respect to total is 1%, 0.1%. And in 2013, Mullets, this figure, which is now 1,52,543, in 2013 census, the last one was 1,93,445, which is in volume, in the new compilation volume that we have given. So, Mullets, that's gone down. 10 Mullets, Umbala cherry is 42,390. That's also gone down.
Yeah.
It was 72,510. And today it is, Mullets, 42,390. The others have gone up, slightly up. So the point I'm making is that both the government of India as well as our government are concerned about the domestic. That's the point, Mullets. I'm not belaboring any more on that point. These are matters of concern. Certainly, my learned friend rightly argued there can be other measures also to ensure that these are protected. But if ultimately the domestic bull, Mullets, becomes extinct, it is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes, they'll ultimately go to the slaughterhouse, Mullets, that's all. Because after all, what happened? The ban was there since 2013. The act came in 2017. It went down. If it has no really value in the conspectus of the societal environment that's prevailing in those areas, people will sell it.
Yeah.
Now, let's kindly see the judgment. Before you do that, there's only one other proposition that I want to make. If the Lordship looks at Part 3 of the Constitution, most of the fundamental rights are respect of my rights as a citizen or as an individual or as a person against state action.
Except that slavery.
Except, two things. Begar, Section 24, and 23, untouchability.
17.
And 17. So those are the only two, which are unrelated to state action, and that also has historic reasons. So when you're talking about rights, it is in the context of state action. To derive a right from a duty, for example, no person shall be deprived of his life or liberty, save in accordance with procedure established by law, is a negative statement. But the right inheres in 21. Because life is fundamental. You can't deprive me of my life except in accordance with procedure established by law. And yet, therefore, it's in the chapter of fundamental rights. And what am I protected from? From state action. How does this fit in with the scheme, in Nagaraj, that because there's a duty to ensure the well-being of the animal, there's a right of the animal? Pay whom?
For example, the right raised to Article 21, unenumerated right, though it may be, to have a pure environment. That may not be a negative command, but it's a positive command to the state.
Correct, that's what I'm saying. So the state should take action. That's exactly my argument. It's a command to the state.
The way they trace it is, human being with a certain sense of dignity would like to have an environment where he is not subjected. Supposing somebody is there, who is not like-minded as you are, he say, this is absolutely horrific, what you're doing. It completely offends me in a severe manner.
Correct.
That my Article 21 right is violated.
Correct.
This is how they...
So let's assume the animal has that right. Let's not test
the
it.
animal. We're talking about the human being.
We're talking about the human being,
By watching Jallikattu,
Yes.
I find something repelling.
Correct. You should not watch it, that's the first answer.
You can't.
Well, there's a lot of things are very repelling on YouTube nowadays. We don't watch it. We don't watch it. It's as simple as that's my choice. But let's leave that aside. Let's a human being file a public interest litigation on behalf of an animal.
Yeah.
That's the point,
That's the point.
That's on behalf of an animal to say that, look, the animal too is entitled to a certain modicum of well-being. Is entitled to a certain modicum of well-being that must be protected in the context of the environment in which we live, because each living creature must be protected.
Compassion.
Correct. Now, what's the response? Whose responsibility is it? The state's. Right, he's right. So if he's not protected, he should ask the state. The state will then say, this is the legislation. This is how I protect. You challenge that legislation. You say this doesn't provide the kind of protection that the animal is entitled to. That legislation is in place. That legislation says no unnecessary harm or pain or suffering. That legislation is in place. Now you are saying that this particular, under the new rules, this practice, you can say that this practice is also violative of 11, violative of 11.1a and 11.1m or whatever, right? You're entitled to say that.
Can they not say that, but for the fact that the state took the initiative, owing perhaps to various pressures, to actually bring in this law? For example, if you know the Spanish bull industry, sports industry, is pumping virtually close to $2 billion US. And even the European Court for Human Rights, very solicitous about other animals, not particularly fond of of protecting the bulls is what they say. So it's ultimately money that matters.
What is not?
Like you said,
What
1
is
lakh,
not?
it's got a price of 1 lakh.
What is
Bull.
not?
What
In
is
today's world, what is not, Malat? What we see around is only money. Means all activities ultimately, ultimately are based on how you become a billionaire. I mean, the world is controlled by a few big setups, Malat. Anyway, but that's beside the point.
Therefore, coming back to the question is, supposing you had not brought this amendment,
Yes,
assume you had not brought the amendment,
right.
what would happen? All that was happening, or perhaps even according to them, even now, under the amended version, it is happening, will be an offense. Nobody will be permitted to do that.
No, what will all go on? Either it will go underground or the cattle will be sold. These are two things that will happen, like noxious activity. What happens? Gaming, liquor trade, you ban it, it goes underground. So you'll have somebody doing it in a different kind of way, and then corruption will happen. Somebody will be paid off, allow us to do this. So
What you're saying is basically it's a legislative value that
that's correct. That's precisely the point.
It goes to wisdom, policy,
Exactly.
not in the realm of legality.
Exactly, Malad.
Yeah.
And Malad, this is a regulatory, Malad, kindly see, and that's what I started with. This is a regulatory statute. It regulates the conduct of human beings. The state has two choices before it, because it is the responsibility of the state to deal with it.
Yeah.
Choice number one, ban it, which it did on 11th of July 2011. That's choice number one. Choice number two is don't ban it, regulate it. Regulate what? The conduct of human beings. This is a regulatory statute. How do you say the regulatory statute is unconstitutional? How do you say 11(3) is manifestly arbitrary? How do you say minus 27, the exemption granted is manifestly arbitrary? And that's a very high standard. And what are the facts to prove that it's manifestly arbitrary? You can't adjudicate those facts in a 32 petition. So how does the 32 petition lie in the context of your demonstrating that the act is manifestly arbitrary because what's happening on the ground is contrary to all norms of reasonable behavior controlled by a statute which, instead of preventing, perpetuates that behavior. You need a very, very high standard and a finding of fact on various events in order to prove that. That exercise also can't be done by the court. So on the one hand, this is a policy matter. On the other hand, this is not a matter that can be adjudicated upon by the court. And my learned friend says that if I...
When this court said that Jallikattu in this form...
Yes, it said that.
There must be some form in which it is permissible.
That's precisely the point. I was going to say that, Madad. That's why your Lordship asked the first day that question. Is Jallikattu in any form impermissible? And therefore, paragraph 31 said, in the view of the above facts, we hold.
Yes.
Now, let's leave this. One second. Yes. No. The other thing is, Malad, I don't see how any of these questions that are being sought to be argued today, even part of the reference. If you look at the reference at page 2253, Malaj,
Of
or volume 5, just read this. This is not part of the reference at all that is being argued.
which page did you?
Page 2252, my lord.
Yes.
However, these writ petitions were pending. While these writ petitions were pending, I'm reading Malaj 2252, second paragraph. The prevention of cruelty to animals, which received the presidential assent on 31st January, was passed. The writ petition was then amended so as to include prayers to set aside the aforesaid Tamil Nadu amendment. After hearing petitioners and respondents for some time, we are of the view that these writ petitions need to be authoritatively decided by Constitution bench. The questions which require reference to 5 judges, learned judges, apart from other questions raised in the writ petitions, are set out here. Is the Tamil Nadu Amendment Act referable in pith and substance to entry 17 of list 3 of the 7th schedule, or does it further and perpetuate cruelty to animals, and can it therefore be said to be a measure of prevention of cruelty to animals? Is it colorable legislation which does not relate to entry in the state list or entry 17? We've answered that. The Tamil Nadu Amendment Act states that it is to preserve the cultural heritage state of Tamil Nadu. Can the impugned Tamil Nadu Amendment be stated to be part of the cultural heritage of the people of the state so as to receive protection? Well, quite frankly, even if it doesn't receive protection of 29, it is part of the cultural heritage and part of Mullad's what's been going on as a matter of tradition for years. Then 3, is the Tamil Nadu Amendment Act in pith and substance to ensure the survival and well-being of the native breed of bulls? Is the Act in pith and substance relatable to 48 of the Constitution? I've tried to attempted to demonstrate that. That's obviously the object of the Act. Does the Tamil Nadu Amendment Act go contrary to 51A, 51AG and 51AH? And could it be said therefore to be unreasonable and violative of 14 and 21? And is the impugned Tamil Nadu Amendment directly contrary to the judgment in Nagaraj? So the Amendment Act has to be violative of 14 and 21. That's the only relevant part of 14 and 21. That's the subject matter of the reference. Not that animals have these rights. All that is not part of the reference at all.
Yeah.
Now, Malaj, the last thing I'll do now is, Malaj, to just one thing. Can your lordship just look at the statute for a minute with me? Just a couple of things. Then I'll come to the judgment and I'm done.
Yeah.
Kindly look at 3 with me.
Yeah.
It shall be the duty of every person having the care or charge of any animal to take all reasonable measures to ensure the well-being of such animal. Just pause here. That's the first part of 3. It's my duty to take care of the well-being of the domesticated animal who I own. And to prevent the infliction, kindly note the word infliction, upon such animal of unnecessary pain or suffering. In other words, I have to take care of my animal and I have to make sure that if anybody seeks to inflict unnecessary pain and suffering, I must make sure that that doesn't happen. Right? Now, this is a regulatory statute where the state is involved. So the state, duty bound under Section 3, to allow a regime to be put in place which does not allow for or which prevents the infliction upon such animal of unnecessary pain and suffering. Again, an element of that mens rea that I was talking about. The word inflict presupposes an attempt to purposely hurt, to intend to cause pain. That's what inflict means.
Yeah.
And that's consistent with my interpretation of 11(1)(a). Overloading, kicking. And now similar to the definition of domestic animal, 2(1)(a) is animal means any living creature other than a human being. Now there's a difference between captive animal and domestic animal. That's part of the act itself. Captive animal means any animal not being a domestic animal, which is in captivity or confinement, whether permanent or temporary, or which is subjected to any appliance or contrivance for the purpose of hindering or preventing the escape from captivity or confinement, or which is pinioned, or which is or appears to be maimed. So all these wild animals are captive animals.
Tiger in zoo.
Tiger included. Normally the cheetah has come. The white tiger is vanishing. So captivity is allowed for its protection. That's the point I'm making. Domestication is legitimized. Domestic animal means any animal which is tamed. Kindly see, the process of taming an animal is itself results in suffering. How do you tame an animal? How do you tame a dog? You don't give him food for such and such time till such time he does a particular thing. Which is tamed or which has been or is being sufficiently tamed to serve some purpose. Kindly notice, Malad, see the very, very careful language used. You are taming him to serve some purpose for the use of man. Or which although it neither has been, nor is being, nor is intended to be so tamed, or is or has become in fact wholly or partly tamed. Well, there's so many layers to this definition, which gives you an idea as to how to interpret this act. The act of taming is to serve a purpose, some purpose for man. I am the owner. I want to have an event. I want to show the bull. I want somebody to see if he can actually ride on the bull. What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that.
Some logistical doubts which we'd like to ask you.
Yes.
You come to page 152 once again, because it's very important that we clear what really happens on the ground under the rules.
Volume 1.
Part of Rule 5.
Certainly.
Because the actual action takes place under 5.2.
152, Malad. Let me just take it.
150. Page, again, the same Rule 5.2.
Yes, I got it.
If what we consider is one sentence, then that really is what is important. The participant shall be permitted only to embrace the bull by the hump and run along with the bull for 15 meters or for 30 seconds or sustain 3 jumps of the bull.
Yes.
The questions are, is it 3 jumps for the whole of the team or is it 3 jumps for one person?
One person.
For one person.
One person.
So say supposing there are 10 in the team, 10 into 30 jumps.
No. One bull, one jump. 3 jumps, one bull, 3 jumps.
One bull,
3 jumps.
3 jumps.
Yes.
All the team members together.
No.
Because you said there is a team.
No, there's a team around, Malaj. I'm not saying there's a team around.
Around means where?
Around near the bull, Malaj. As the bull comes
That's right.
to the arena, there's a team there, Malaj. Now, one of them will try to hold on to the bull. He'll fail. The other will try and hold on.
That is what we are asking.
Yes.
Therefore, it is not 1%, but you can have, see, 1% makes 3 attempts.
Malaj, it won't because it's 50 meters, Malaj. This will happen in a few,
That we will come
2
to
minutes.
That problem will come to later on.
Yes.
First we want.
When your lordship writes down something, I knew there's a question coming, Malaj.
That's right. What we want to know how it is worked out. It's very important.
Yes, Albert.
There is a team surrounding. Let's see, it's on both sides.
Yeah.
Also on back and front. Okay, because
The front, it won't happen, Malaj. So the
front it can. We have seen that.
it will not happen. The bull will charge, Malaj. Nobody dares. Nobody dares.
I have seen it happen.
Bull may turn, but I think people will go back. Malaj, people are.
They will go right in front. They will do that.
No, Malaj.
They will do that. But anyway, what we want to know is when you say 3 jumps sustain 3 jumps of the bull, because 3 jumps by 1 member of the team or 3 into
By the bull, the jumps is of the bull, Malaj. 3 jumps of the bull. He sustains 3 jumps of the bull. I have to sustain 3 jumps of the bull. I have to keep on hanging on to the bull for 3 jumps.
All right. So 1% alone can do that, is it? Or
Naturally.
everybody can do
No. 1 person, Malaj.
One person, supposing he is thrown off.
Then, Malaj, the next one will try, but the 50 meters may. Next person may not try, but because 2 minutes, Malaj, there will be no chance.
Okay. So second man, third man, 3
Yes,
jumps.
That's right.
That's it.
That's it.
Out of the team members.
That's correct.
All right. Now what happens?
Huh? The person wins if he the 3 jump.
Supposing I hang on the hump, then all other teammates they'll back out.
Naturally.
I have to now keep on hanging for 3 jumps of the bull. Bull
That's
will
right.
try to throw me up. I have to keep on latching.
Okay.
Either bull will succeed in throwing me off, or I will manage not for 3 jumps.
The next question.
Once 3 jumps, then I get off.
That's
The
right.
bull goes.
So what you are
Nobody else can.
what you are really contemplating is that starting from the entry point,
Yeah.
Yes.
15 meters,
That's right.
paved with the carpet, red carpet, and it is supposed to reach what is called the bull run area.
Bull run area.
That's correct.
In the bull run area, nothing happens.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happens.
That's it.
Now the point we are asking is, how do you know that the bull is going to reach the bull run area, because it can meander, it can go sideways.
It does, but let
Very,
people
very
back
like-
off, Malaj. People are afraid. You must understand this.
No, we are saying that, see, at 30 seconds comes in there. Supposing the 30 seconds is over, will you stop the thing altogether?
And nobody will handle.
Nobody will. Nobody will.
We are saying something very, very, pertinent for us. Supposing 30 seconds is over from the time when the bull starts running,
Yes.
what will you do? And it is still not reached the bull run area. Our question is, supposing it does not, because unless it's running, into that area,
Like that.
we are asking you if the
Like
bull runs on the side, because it can. Theoretically, it can. If it runs and it doesn't reach the bull run area, what will you do after 30 seconds? Will you stop it?
After 30 seconds, the owner will then take it away, Malaj.
That's
Whatever.
what we want to know. Whether you. we can
That's what will
record
happen,
it.
Malaj.
Whether we
He'll
can-
come in and take it away. That's all.
So do you have a stop clock? Can you say 30 seconds is over now?
Yes, they have a stop clock.
So after 30 seconds, irrespective of whether they have.
Yeah, they will take it away. Take it away.
The bull is free.
Yes, right.
This is what we can take.
Yes.
Just
Total activity has to be completed in 60 to 120 seconds.
Sorry?
Total activity has to be completed within 60 to 120
That's right,
seconds.
that's right.
So, Malaj, if nothing happens, Malaj, he'll be taken away.
We are talking about 30 seconds because whether it is, because it doesn't say whichever is later. We are asking this question with a purpose.
Malaj,
See, how do you work it out? Should we not wait? There's a rule. Subordinate legislation can be struck down if it is vague.
I'll tell your lordship, Malaj, if he is able to, if the 3 jumps he is able to attain, that's the end of the matter.
We'll take that down.
Yeah.
If it is end of the matter, because you will not say that again 30 seconds.
No. That's the end of the matter. Your lordship may take it down, but there's no issue at all.
Either is over. We take it either is over.
Yes.
Supposing it completes a 15-meter run.
Yes.
That's end of
Oh,
it.
end of the match.
No, brother.
Supposing 30 seconds is over,
Yes,
that is again.
yes,
the end of it.
yes.
We have to take it. You'll not have.
That is 60. The entire activity starting with the entry point till collection area is 60 to 120 seconds.
That's right. No. Here you have said this embracing part
Yes,
is to take place only of 30 seconds.
that's right.
That's why we are asking you. Supposing 30 seconds takes place.
After that, no embracing.
That's exactly what we
No
can
embracing.
record it. We can
Correct.
record it.
Correct.
Brother,
Certainly not the bull,
one
Malak.
more.
Right.
Mr. Sibal and also
After that, we just note it down.
we have the holding arena of the bull,
Correct, Malak.
and perhaps similarly, in the manner that you are projecting,
Yeah.
there will be also the holding arena of the competing young men. If your theory is correct,
Correct.
the bull goes on to the bull run area.
That's correct.
One young man tries to
Correct.
embrace and hold on.
Yes,
3 attempts, he doesn't make it.
right.
Suppose the young man falls off in the first attempt itself,
Yes,
first jump itself.
yes.
The second man is not starting from the holding area. They are all in the bull run area. Is that correct or is that not correct?
Not in the arena,
They are not in the holding area.
not in the bull run area.
No, this is what you have to tell us this. The young men who are competing,
They're all together.
they are all in the bull run area.
In the arena,
In
Malak.
the bull run arena, that's right.
Yes, arena, not the area, bull run area.
No,
Bull run area is a different
Just a
concept.
minute.
Arena
No,
was what my
just
lord
a
is
minute.
putting.
Let us visualize that this is the, from the presiding judge's
Yes,
position,
yes,
the bull is running,
yes, yes.
getting out of the arena.
Yes,
The young men are on the sides,
that's correct.
right?
Correct.
One man makes the attempt
Yes,
and he falls off in the first attempt.
that's right.
The next young man is not starting from the sideline. He is within the bull run area. I think this is what it is. You have to
Yes,
tell
yes,
us.
he's in the arena, Malak. He's in the arena. He's in the arena.
That's right.
I agree,
It has to
Malak.
be. It has to be. All in the, they have to be in the same
I
area.
am agreeing, Malak.
Correct.
Yes, I'm.
So therefore, one makes, so when the bull is going, he is not, of course, we are between a man and a bull, of course, the bull is the superior thing, obviously.
That's right.
But the bull is, in a sense, being confronted with, let us say, pink, T-shirt wearing 30 people.
Absolutely.
Let's assume, Malak.
This
Let's
is how,
assume.
no, this is how it is. You see, from
I agree, Malak.
from the way you have projected,
Yeah.
it is as if the bull starts off, somebody makes an attempt. If he continues for 3, he continues and he's the winner. The man is the winner.
Right.
But if the bull is to win, he has to either throw off or not allow anybody to get on to him.
Correct, absolutely right.
But the competing people, they are all in the bull run area.
They are all in the arena. That's
They have to be.
No
They are
doubt.
coming from the sidelines.
No doubt, no doubt.
Because they cannot be starting the run. Otherwise, the bull will definitely win.
But Malak, the time period is so
Oh,
short.
correct. But within that's why time period is so short also has an element. Then they can't be starting from the sideline. From the starting point, they can't be starting. They are there. One man makes an attempt, falls, next man immediately makes the attempt. So they are all running together
Yes,
with the
but
bull.
not in front of the bull, Malak.
Can't be. They won't be doing that.
That's right. So they are
They are
behind.
smart enough.
Yeah,
They
they are
will not
behind.
be starting.
That's right.
how-
They are behind, Malak.
Correct.
Therefore,
But they are all running together.
not running, Malak. What
It has to be. It has
You
to,
don't-
otherwise, they will never catch up.
Malak, I'm not saying that there are 50 meters only, Malak.
Yeah. 50 meters, yes.
Kindly see, 15 meters is from here to here.
Correct.
Correct, Malak?
Correct.
So they'll be on the sides here. The bull will come. One person will try and jump onto it. If the bull by that time runs away, that's the end of the matter. Or he stands and he turns around.
But within-
Nobody dares touch him.
Within
30 seconds are
that
over,
50
then he'll go.
within that 50 meters or 60 seconds or 120 seconds, they are all together.
Maybe Malak, but
No. I mean, we are just asking,
Well,
asking the factual thing.
I have not seen it.
The layout is given. The layout is.
Layout is
given.
given, Malak,
Take it at page number 92. It is
That's
given.
right. That's right.
92.
Yes.
So whether it can be explained but with reference. to
Yes,
that.
they are there.
Yes, yes. It speaks about where is the entry point, where is the arena, where is the bull run area.
It's
and
all
bull
there.
collection, Yeah,
It's all there.
these are the parts.
That's correct. And then your lordship, you see the rule says the participant shall not hold on to the tail, horns, using their hands or restrict the movement of the bulls by holding onto the bull's legs. They can't do that. They can run along, but they can't do any of that. The participants violating these guidelines will be liable to be debarred from participating further in the event. They can't block the.
Page 92.
My Lord Justice Roy is right. I'm not disputing that.
We are just trying to understand.
Yes,
It's not a matter of being right or
No, I'm saying
just trying to understand
but I
what
just want to
Mr. Sibal is trying to
just
say.
what I'm trying to say is the following. The rules say that he cannot catch onto the tail.
No, all right.
He
That-
cannot
that's all
catch
right.
onto the legs. He'll have to be behind Mullah. He can't be in front because somebody is trying to climb the bull. Mullah. He can't block. So Mullah, if in that process, Mullah, in the first 5 seconds, the guy falls off, somebody else will try.
Yeah, but
There's no doubt about it.
But you will not start from the sideline.
Maybe.
You will start together.
Yeah.
Together. They're all running
Yes,
together.
yes, yes.
One falls off, the other immediately makes the attempt.
We'll take that. Yes, they'll not be permitted to block the exit way for the bulls either. So they can't surround the bull.
True.
So they are not surrounding the bull. Your Lordship is right. They may be running along. They may not be too far away from the bull. One tries, it fails. And if the 30 seconds are over, that's the end of the matter. If in 5 seconds he falls off, the other will try, and that's what will happen. Question is this process unnecessary pain and suffering of the bull? Is the question. That's the question, Bharat.
As regards the second person, it is subject to the time.
It is subject, of course, subject to the time. Sorry?
It's very clear now.
Yes.
If you follow the rules as you claim,
Yes.
the pain will now be confined to the flight here. That fear.
That's not unnecessary, Malad. It's bound to happen in a sport.
That's the question. Ultimately, that's going to be the question.
Yeah, but Malad's question, that can't be decided with the greatest respect, Malad, in a 32 petition, that it results in this kind of fear that is not necessary or unnecessary. That's for the legislature to decide with the greatest respect.
Yeah.
That's not judicially determinable. Because it's the legislature which is regulating this statute.
Yeah.
It's the legislature which decides the nature of the activity.
Mr. Sibal,
Yes.
this exact sequence
Yes.
which you gave us
Yes.
commentary, is it possible to have an affidavit?
Yes.
We'll be taking
Yes.
the matter on Tuesday.
Yes. Yes.
Detailed sequence.
Yes.
But these 10-15 people are
Correct.
located with the diagram.
Yes, we'll do that. We'll do that.
And stage by stage.
Yes, we'll do that. We'll file an affidavit by Tuesday morning. Not an issue at all. But what I'm saying is assuming, Malad, I'll assume all facts against myself. Who is to decide this question?
No, that will decide.
No.
Whether it will decide the question or not.
No. Who will decide of unnecessary pain and suffering? That's the point. I'm not Malad, I'm saying. Not the.
No. We are saying, we are more humble, that whether we will decide this question or not, we will decide that first. Then,
No, the point I was making was, Malad, this is ultimately has to be an exercise under the regulatory.
we have factored in your argument.
Yes.
That's why we said,
Yes.
whether we'll at all enter into that question or not. And
Yes.
that also we'll have to take a decision.
Naturally. That's of course, Malad. That's why we are arguing before your lordships in order to convince your lordships that.
Yes. Yes.
Malad, there are also, just my learned friend rightly points out, there are 3 committees, Malad, that actually monitor all this. Apart from the High Court Committee and apart from the Rules Committee, there is also the committee of the Animal Welfare Board, which monitors all this.
Yeah.
Volume 3, just note that, Volume 3, page 1072. The joint compilation.
Three, it's here. 1072.
1072, Volume 3, 1072.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to read that part of the section 3. Sorry, the definition.
Yeah.
Which I was started with when your lordship asked me to get paid this.
Yeah.
So I said that you must look at, my lords, the entire act in the context of the definition of a domestic animal. Being put to for the use of man.
Yeah.
And, my lords, section 27 gives exemption to this activity, my lords.
Yeah.
So nothing contained in this chapter shall apply to. But that is all again subject to, my lords, the rules that my lords, we have placed before your lordships. So that, my lords, is all about as far as the statute is concerned and our arguments. Now, my lords, I'll just deal with the judgment in a few minutes and then I've done this.
Anything else you want to do? Here.
Some comments to make on it. And we come to paragraphs 33 onwards. Referring to page 2233. Then the book page number is 581. Paragraph 33 is 581. But it's just between placitum D and E, if my lords, bullets, be kind enough to look at those.
Yeah.
Sentence starting, regulations or guidelines, whether statutory or otherwise, if they purport to dilute or defeat the welfare legislation and the constitutional principles, the court should not hesitate to strike them down so as to achieve the ultimate object and purpose of the welfare legislation. The next line, mothers, the court has also a duty under the doctrine of parens patriae to take care of the rights of animals since they are unable to take care of themselves as against human beings. But I take exception to this proposition.
Yeah.
While, my lords, if your lordships find a particular practice, even under these rules, to cause unnecessary pain and suffering, it is that part of the practice that your lordships will say is unacceptable. But it will still, my lords, require the legislature to apply its mind to ensure that whatever practice is put in place is consistent with the Act. This burden on the court that if they are not able to take care of themselves, it is your lordship's responsibility so to do, as it is suggested, my lords, that I think is a proposition. Because that means that the legislature is incapable of dealing with this.
Yeah.
Well, that assumption, my lords, is a little extreme. Now come, my lords, to 34.
Para 34.
The PC Act is already indicated was enacted to prevent the infliction of unnecessary pain, suffering, or cruelty on animals. Section 3 of the Act deals with duties of persons having charge of animals, which is mandatory in nature and hence confer corresponding rights. Now, let's just pause here. Confer corresponding rights. Under which law? Not the Constitution, not the statute. And if you look at section 51, which is the duty under the Constitution itself, there are no concomitant corresponding rights that are conferred. So the very assumption the duties of persons having charge of animals, which is mandatory in nature and hence confer corresponding rights. Whereas who is in charge of animals? The individual, not the state. I am in charge of the animal.
We'll have to frontally deal with the question as to whether animals can be the subject matter of legal rights.
Well, your lordships may deal. Yes, I am not well disputing. Your lordships may deal with it.
So
but those rights have
What
to.
is your argument there?
The
Your
rights have to
argument
be
is
enunciated.
No, animals cannot be.
No. Rights, if any, must be enunciated by the legislature, by parliament.
When the legislature says that no person, for example, shall kick an animal.
Yes.
So if you say that the animal can be the subject matter of a legal right,
Right.
that particular animal which is kicked by any person,
Yes.
perhaps has a right which it cannot itself enforce because it is incapable of doing it.
No, but the statute enforces it here.
You take the case of a minor. You take the case of a minor.
Right.
A 2-year-old child. That child is subjected to maybe under the POSCO, maybe under anything, any law, the opposite of his right, property rights.
Right.
Can you say that the minor, because it is unable to enforce the right by itself, is not capable of possessing that right?
No, well, I'll just answer that.
Take the case of an idol. Take the case of a Hindu idol, capable of owning property.
That's right.
Adverse possession cannot be pleaded against it.
Correct.
These are all concepts which have been good. This is, in fact, Salmon notes, that is part of Eastern countries in the East have this extended.
We have no problems with that. Yes. The question only is, Manoj, who enforces them? That's the question.
So there the court,
Ultimate state and court as an agency of the state.
That's right. Court as an agency of the state if the state is unable and unwilling to deal with it. Your lordships have done that in Vishaka and many other cases. But here there is a statute that deals with it. This is that statute which deals with these very issues, and that's why punitive. The consequences are punitive in nature, prescribed by the statute itself. If you kick somebody, if you kick an animal as under 11(1)(a) and overload, and the statute prescribes that you will be prosecuted.
Yeah.
So therefore, that an individual can file a writ petition or file a proceeding of any nature to ensure that the state implements the statute is one thing. But to say that because of non-implementation, the animal has a right is another thing altogether. The right will still, because what is being enforced is the conduct of the human being, Malad. Nothing to do with the animal. The animal is under the care of the human being. If the human being inflicts unwanted suffering on the animal and pain on the animal, the statute takes care of it. And therefore, the human being's conduct is put into question. That's the regulatory statute that we're dealing with. We're not dealing with the statute of rights. That's not the litigation before your lordships.
Yeah.
That's therefore I question this particular finding. Rights so conferred on animals are thus antithesis of duty. Where does the learned judges get that from?
We'll ask you one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what have you done by the amendment to section 3 and 11?
Yes.
What have you done?
I tell your lordships, straight away. Volume 1, page 137. We have said, and I showed your lordship the notification of the central government of 2016.
We are asking something else.
Yes.
Section 11(3).
Yes.
F, which you have added.
Yes.
What have you added?
The conduct of Jallikattu with a view to follow and promote tradition and culture.
Correct.
And ensure preservation of native breeds of bulls as also their safety, security, and well-being.
Now, therefore, and then what does section 3 say? It says nothing in.
We're 11 or he says nothing. Yes, then I have to read 3 itself.
11.3 alone you have to read.
Yes.
Please read 11.3.
11.3 says, next page, nothing in this section shall apply to.
Nothing in this section shall apply.
That's correct.
Conduct of Jallikattu.
Yes.
Now,
Not
suppose-
conduct of Jallikattu with certain conditions.
Correct. What are the conditions?
That I'm showing, Millers, with a view to promote tradition and culture, ensure preservation, and also their safety, security, and well-being.
Absolutely, no difficulty.
Yes.
No difficulty.
Yes.
Now, the result is if Jallikattu is being conducted in the manner for the purpose of whatever you have said.
Yes.
What if in the course of the conduct of the Jallikattu,
Yes.
the various things which are prohibited under section 11A
Yes.
actually take place?
Yes.
Which means
Yes.
actually contrary to the rules.
Yes.
There is kicking.
Yes,
beating,
yes.
etc. or doing what those
Yes.
many things. Section 11.3 does not apply. 11 doesn't apply. Because 11.3 has said F has taken care of that.
That's right.
So how will you penalize that man?
It says-
Is there a penal law?
Yes, it shall be punishable.
Which is it?
This 11 itself.
No. 11 doesn't apply.
No, it will apply, but it is for the safety, Malaj.
No. When you say that the statute say 11 does not apply in the case of Jallikattu. 11.
No, subject to conditions of safety, Malaj. These are conditions of safety. These are conditions, Malaj. This is the point I'm making. It just doesn't say it applies to Jallikattu. As also their safety.
Have you in the cases of transgressions?
Yes, we filed FIRs prosecuting.
Have they been prosecuted?
Yes, we've given details. I showed your lordship.
Have you prosecuted under section 11? You don't know under what law you are.
That I can find out, Malaj.
The argument will be whether in the Jallikattu, therefore 11 is accepted, 11 doesn't apply.
No, Malaj. As I said, the condition under section 3, amendment of section
So
3.
in the rule, in the section,
Yes.
do you say
Yes.
that, any violation will revive section 11? You do not follow.
Malaj, if it is not, it is against the security and well-being of the animal. If he's kicked around, Malaj, 11 will straight away apply. Because that's a condition precedent in 3 itself.
The problem is the way you have drafted it. You say nothing in section 11 will apply.
Yeah, but with the safety conditions, Malaj, with these conditions, nothing means nothing in the context of also their safety, security, and well-being. This has to be read with Malaj, notwithstanding anything contained, the conduct of Jallikattu subject to such rules and regulations that may be framed by the state government shall be permitted. So all this is to be read together.
Supposing dehorning takes place. 11.3A. Dehorning takes place.
Yes.
Obviously cruelty under 11A. But that is accepted.
But there's no conditional qualification there. Raj is conditional, Malaj. Please appreciate.
Supposing you are cooking food.
Malaj, I'm saying.
Obviously 11 will not apply.
No, I'm on, when your lordship talks about 11.3A, Malaj, there are no conditionalities there. That's complete exemption. In fact, it's much worse. I have put conditionalities along with rules.
The conditionality is only holding of Jallikattu for the purpose of so and so.
No, I'll holding with the
Does not
Jallikattu
even
for.
say in accordance with the rules.
It says so, Malaj. It says so. Subsection, notwithstanding anything contained, the conduct of Jallikattu subject to such rules as may be framed by the state government shall be permitted.
That is section 3 we are talking about.
But Malaj, you have to read.
Each section will have to be separately dealt with. What section 11.3 says is holding of Jallikattu for the purpose of so and so. It should have been Jallikattu in accordance with the rules.
Malaj, with respect, I say, Malaj, that's how you will have, with respect, I would persuade your lordship to read 311 in that fashion.
Can be saved.
Yes, in that fashion,
That's all
because that's the intent of the legislature when that amendment is taking place.
So many silences about the legislation that we find it a little disturbing. That you should have been clear. Because otherwise what will happen is these they will kick. You can't take action on the 11. You can't take action. How many prosecutions have you launched?
1094 we have mentioned, Malaj.
1094.
We have mentioned. But Malaj, let me put it. I'm sorry. No. This is only for 2022 that we have mentioned, Malaj. Data is all there at 1094, my lords.
But you did not make any mention about the sections.
No, my lords, of that.
FIR numbers, it is there.
That we can give, that we can give to you.
Section 11
We
is
can
also
give,
not-
that's not an issue, my lords.
Section 11 is also.
In Tamil, we'll get it translated. That's right, that's right.
Yes. He just asked you one question. Wanted to clarify that.
That's fine, my lords. It's important, my lords. 20. Any person contravenes any order by the committee under 90 commits a breach. Commits any breach of any condition imposed by the committee, he shall be punishable with.
What does that 20 say?
It says, if any person contravenes any order made by the committee under section 19 or commits a breach of any condition imposed by the committee under that section, he shall be punishable with fine which may extend to 200 rupees. And for contravention of each breach of condition has taken place. My lord is asking a different question.
You're asking a different question. That will not apply.
We are asking, that's different.
What does it say?
Well, that's the FIR, which your lordship asked the question, what is the sections under? It's under 11(1)A. I just got it, Malad. 143, 188 and 11(1)A. Of Prevention of Cruelty Act. Your lordship asked me the question. The prosecution is under 11(1)A. Yeah, prosecuting under 11(1)A.
Illegal Jallikattu is what their annexure says.
So naturally, it is illegal. What else is it? If we were legal, we would not be prosecuting. So you're going to devise what's legal, what's illegal Jallikattu. Anyway, Malad, I think it's important that I finish now, Malad, because now, Malad, so therefore, I strongly believe that paragraph 34 in this correlation of rights and Malad, is the antithesis of duty, Malad, respect. Now, kindly see, Malad, just over the page at page 582, both the above limbs.
Yeah.
Now, Malad, both the above limbs is 31A has two limbs, Malad, as I mentioned to your lordships.
Yeah.
See what the court says. Both the above limbs have to be cumulatively satisfied. Primary duty of the persons in charge or care of the animal is to ensure the well-being of the animal. That person in charge is the individual who owns the cattle. Well-being means state of being comfortable, healthy or happy. Forcing the bull and keeping the same in the waiting area for a number of hours and subjecting it to scorching sun is not for the well-being of the animal. What does this mean, Malad? What does this mean? Therefore, you strike it down. So any activity which is not for the well-being of the animal, therefore, Malad, is violative of the act. Is that what? That's not what 11 says. Not for the well-being of the animal. Forcing the bull, pulling bulls by nose ropes into the narrow closed enclosure of Vadivasa, subjecting to all forms of torture, fear, pain, suffering for forcing it to go on the arena and overpowering it in the arena by the bull tamers are not for the well-being of the animal. Instead of saying that this is causing unnecessary pain and suffering. That's what the test is, Malad. Not the well-being of the animal. Any animal in captivity, Malad, is not for the well-being of the animal ultimately, Malad. The manner in which the bull tamers are treating the bulls in the arena is evident from the reports. That's the ABW. Organizers of Jallikattu are depriving the rights guaranteed to the bulls under Section 3. What are the rights guaranteed to the bulls under Section 3? There are no rights guaranteed, Malad. Read Section 3. So the whole basis of the judgment, Malad, is contrary to the scheme of the statute. Then let's kindly come to placetum D. Last sentence of that paragraph, we have no hesitation to say that Jallikattu as such is not for the well-being of the animal. Jallikattu as such is not for the well-being of the animal.
Yeah.
And by undertaking such events, organizers are clearly violating the first limb of Section 3. So you have, it is contrary to the statute itself, this interpretation.
Yeah.
You can say that this practice causes unnecessary pain and suffering and therefore say that this practice is bad. You are certainly entitled to say that. But you can't say that since it's not for the well-being of the animal, therefore I strike it down. No activity in captivity, especially when you tame the animal, is for its well-being.
Yeah.
Now kindly come to again, placetum E to F. Sixth line from the top. Another aspect to be examined is whether the conduct causing the suffering was for a legitimate purpose, such as the purpose for benefiting the animals. Well, what does this mean?
Yeah.
The purpose is not for the benefit of anybody, or the purpose of protecting the person, property of another animal. What does this mean, I don't think, where does this come from? Duty is to prevent the infliction of unnecessary pain or suffering, meaning thereby no right is conferred to inflict unnecessary pain or suffering on the animals. By organizing Jallikattu, the organizers are not preventing the infliction of unnecessary pain or suffering. So the organizer in itself amounts to inflicting unnecessary pain and suffering. That's again not part of the statute.
Yeah.
Then, between G and H, Section 3 has already indicated confers corresponding rights. I've already mentioned that, of animals as against the persons in charge of care. So, therefore, paragraph 33, paragraph 34, paragraph 35 and 36, lay down completely wrong law. It's not borne out by the statute.
Yes.
Then cruelty, para 37. Section 11 generally deals with cruelty to animals. Section 11 confers no right on the organizers to conduct Jallikattu cart race. Section 11 is a beneficial provision enacted for the welfare and protection of animals.
Yeah.
And it is penal in nature. Being penal in nature, it confers rights on animals. Where does this come from? A penal provision doesn't confer rights on anybody, It may result in prosecution. A penal provision doesn't confer a right. You should be prosecuted in accordance with law, procedure established by law. That's all. That's the only right that you have. So, again, 37 again lays down a wrong proposition of law, And then, kindly kindly come to page 585. Para 42, which my Lord put to me, Section 3 and 11 has already indicated, therefore. Yes. All right. Then I'll leave that, Then, I've no problem. I'm just one more minute,
Yeah.
Concluded for. Another problem I have with the judgment is at 585 between paragraphs placetum A to B. The sentence starting, exceptions are incorporated based on the doctrine of necessity. This is completely wrong. Under clause B of 11.3.
Yeah.
Deals with destruction of stray dogs out of necessity. What does this mean, Otherwise, it would be harmful to human beings. The stray dog may not be harmful to human beings. How is dehorning, a part of doctrine of necessity?
Can be dangerous perhaps to everybody.
It may be, Malaj, it may be. It's what kind of stray dog, Malaj? That's what it is, Malaj. This statute only talks about stray dogs. Your Lordship knows, Malaj, in Australia, I mean, this is a couple of years ago, Malaj, there were any number of kangaroos which were destroying, entering into houses, Malaj. They had to cull kangaroos in thousands. So, Malaj, the point that I'm making is how this is part of doctrine of necessity. And how does, Malaj, my legislation does not fit into that?
Yeah.
The whole concept of necessity is alien to 11.
Yeah.
3, Malaj. And
72 also, 72.
70.
It's already written.
That is why how they, what says that the right was, the animals, how they accrued the right. That is dealt with under 1772.
72, that's correct. That's
Not to be
Article
kicked,
21.
Not to be kicked.
Not to be kicked. That's, I agree, Malaj, but that's part of 11.1a itself. Now, Malaj, I just want...
Yes.
No, Malaj, then the judge relies upon the Constitution of Germany, which gives them some constitutional right, Malaj. We took out the Constitution of Germany, there is no such right.
No such right.
No such right. I'll just show to your Lordship what the right is.
In fact, Switzerland gives rights. That's perhaps the only country which gives a constitutional status to animals.
This is the section that the judge relies upon, the judgment relies upon. See what it says. Mindful also of its responsibilities towards, future generations, state shall protect the natural foundations of life and animals by legislation and in accordance with law and justice by executive and judicial action, all within the framework of the constitutional order. Which is that constitutional right that is given? It's through legislation.
Have they made any law?
Yes, Animal Welfare Act
In that,
of Germany.
what do they give?
Exactly, more or less the same. We'll place it before your lordships.
Yeah.
So, Malaj, if the judgment goes into this and says that, look, Germany has given some constitutional right, this constitutional dignity of animal is constitutionally recognized, it's recognized under the Indian law also.
Yeah.
That's how we say you can't inflict unnecessary pain or suffering. So, Malaj, there's much to be said that this kind of judicial exercise and then it says it should be elevated to the status of a fundamental right, Malaj. But anyway, that's only a direct request to the state. So all that I say to your lordships is there is no issue of constitutional lack of constitutionality here. There is a legislation in place. The practice, the new regime has been put in place. Rules have been put in place. If they have any grievance, Malaj, they can move in appropriate court. They have not moved any court. You may see, he says he's filed an affidavit. I have not seen anything, Malaj, any action of theirs in court since 2017. The data they filed in 2022. Some data, I believe, they filed in 2019 and 20.
Yeah.
Malaj, but as I said to your lordships, this court, the Constitution Court, not called upon to start looking at how things are happening as long as the regime is in place. And if this is violated, there are consequences that follow, Malaj. I'm deeply obliged to you.
So who's going to argue? It takes some time.
Begin on Tuesday, Malaj.
You have to
In this-
Who can finish?
Nobody can finish, my lord. I have to cover, my lord, the repugnance, my lord, 254, then retrogression, then finding of fact argument, my lord, then culture, my lord.
To the extent that you think, so that by Tuesday evening, this case should be over.
I should be over, my lord.
The constitution bench starting on Wednesday.
So it should be over, my lord, by 3 o'clock. I think we can, this side can finish. They'll get an hour's time, my lord, to rejoin. Then
They may probably say that
They took 4 days to argue.
Eh?
They took almost 4 days.
No, smarter lawyers this side.
But today, my lord, tomorrow being a miscellaneous day, my lord, would be.
Dr. Joseph. They are saying that by 3 o'clock on
Judgments, Your Lordship may just note. I'm not going to read them.
Yeah.
Because one is Mishrilal Jain,
citation.
1977, volume
That
3
PN Act,
Yes,
PN.
yes. 3 SCC 212, 7 distinguished judges, mother of this court.
312.
212.
212.
Page 14, paragraph 6, mother. Only paragraph 6 of that judgment. And the principle is legislature can cure the vice defect identified in a statute by courts.
Yeah.
It fits in, mother. If there is some problem, the legislature can do it. The second judgment is our famous R.K. Garg judgment, 1981, 4 SCC 675, para 7, 1981, 4 SCC 675, para 7, 8, 16, 18, and 19. 7, 8, 16, 18, and 19. And public policy, Malaj, is in the hands of the legislature.
That's right.
Right. These are the only 2 judgments I wish to say.
Continue on Tuesday.
Just one thing, I understand your lordship that you will keep the files available for your lordships to.
You have seen that. Have you got the files with you?
I have seen that. I'm satisfied. Everything was there. And I'm filing a 1-page affidavit. What?
Why don't you allow them to see it? I mean, there's around nothing which is
I have something to say on that. That's all.
That's right. But what was placed before the president actually?
It was, my lord, the repugnancy part, the judgment in Nagaraja, the opinions of the Ministry of the concerned ministry, the opinion of the Ministry of Culture, the Law Ministry, and file went through, my lord, the relevant administrative ministry to the Honorable President. And my lord, I'm filing that my affidavit is ready.
What we are keen to know is, what is the date of the assent actually?
So there are 3 different acts, if you don't mind.
We're talking about the Tamil Nadu Act.
My lord, I just give the
31st January. 31st January 2017.
What we wanted to know was, if the president had before him the set of rules made under Tamil Nadu at the time when the assent was given. The reason being,
I check up.
the rules which bring about the change.
No, the notification, mother. The notification.
The rules which you have made.
Correct.
Appears to, subject to the fear factor, remove every aspect about inflicting pain.
Yes, but Manoj, it is under
the rules were also before the president is what we
Yeah, but it is under the overall framework of the 2000.
Cannot make rules unless, my lord, the assent is.
I can't make rules. And not only that, Manoj, the government of India's notification tells the framework of the rules that is under which the rules will be framed. Gives the framework the notification.
My learned friend may verify there was a and therefore the rules were of 21st January 2000. The sentence of 31st January. The rules were there.